Not all habits are created equal. We're talking today about finding one that will make all the others easier on your journey to becoming a healthier version of yourself. Stick around. Welcome back to the Begin Within Health Show. You are awesome. You're awesome for being here. You're awesome for being somebody who is interested in becoming a better version of yourself. I know that's why you're here. I know that's why you listen to the show, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. One thing that you can do that would help me out a lot is to make sure that you are subscribed to or following the show on YouTube or your podcast player, and then rate and review the show or just drop a comment. You could do that on so many different platforms now. Just leave a comment, just say hi, ask a question, make a comment on the episode, something you agree with, something you disagree with. I love it. I love those conversations that we're having. I appreciate you so much for doing that. And it helps others to find the show, quite simply. It helps this podcast to stay in the top 5% of all podcasts on planet Earth. And maybe it'll get even higher up on that list. That would be awesome for me. But thanks so much for listening. And the thing that you could do most, just keep working. Just keep working on improving little by little. Now, we're talking about a concept today that flies in the face of what is so common with health and fitness, and that's that you need a complete overhaul to start feeling better, to start making positive momentum toward your goals. This is about finding the smallest habit that is going to move you in the right direction and then focusing on that one habit. And that's something that I've noticed in working with people over the years. This concept that not all habits are created equal. Some just kind of float out there on their own. Man, I wish I could get this one figured out. And then there are other habits that act like a lever. When you pull one, remember that old game Mousetrap? It's just like the Mousetrap thing. You do one thing and this bumps into that and this little thing unwinds and then the little ball rolls down and hits something else. That's how some habits are. Once you pull that initial lever, once you flip that switch, a whole bunch of other things start moving with it. And wouldn't that be great if that's how improving health was for us? Well, it can be. And we're talking today about a concept called Keystone habits. I'll tell you about where I first heard of this concept. But most importantly, I want you to find yours. I want you to find one habit today that when you focus on it, it makes everything else easier. And please stick around to the end because I'm going to give you one simple, single action that you can take tonight that's going to tie everything that we talk about all together. It's something that I know for me personally, I have found it's almost, it sounds too small to make a big difference, but I am going to share it with you at the end of the episode after we build this foundation of talking about keystone habits. And of course, please remember, health is nuanced, it's personal, it's something that's built over time. Today, this topic, we're just talking about a small piece of that. And of course, when it comes to improving your own personal health, figuring out what to work on next, what's important, consult with your physician. Absolutely. But please keep that in mind that health, it's very personal. I'm not here telling you need to be like me. I'm not here telling you the things that worked for me are absolutely going to work for you. But what I want is to continue to expose you to new ideas that are going to help you to continue to move in a direction that you want, a healthier direction to becoming a healthier version of yourself. This podcast, I hope, is a place where you can just reflect. Take some time and think about how this process is going for you right now, this week, and what you might be able to do to keep moving forward. All right, let's start here. We are told so often that that there are healthy things and there are unhealthy things, and there might be some truth to that. That's right. So things like drink more water tends to be healthy, right? A little better for you than not drinking water. Move your body better than not moving consistently, right? Eat more veggies, get more sleep, manage your stress, limit how much alcohol that you're consuming, go to bed earlier, wake up earlier, right? So many things. Oh, yeah, those are all healthy things. None of it's bad advice, but when you try to do all of that, all of it, that's where the problem comes in. We feel overwhelmed. You can't really keep it all together for very long, right? So after a couple of weeks, you're back to where you started, or even worse, because now you're like, oh, well, I guess this isn't just for me, this health thing. So you've got also a collection of things that you took along with you that now, what are you going to do with them? Hang on to all these old water bottles and the gym bag and everything else, right? And it's not wrong to want to do all those things. But the mistake that we're addressing today is that trying to do them all and treating them like they're all the same, like they all have the same weight, isn't the way to go. And this is something that I talk with clients a lot about. And the concept, the first time I learned about it, I remember we were on a trip to Hawaii, Maui. Oh, love it. I used to grab a book for the flights, right? Sitting in the airport, waiting the layover. So I'd have I used to get a hard copy book when we go on a vacation, and that was my thing. I would read it. And I remember this one trip to Maui, I had the book The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I can still remember the moment I finished it as we were waiting for our flight to leave the lovely island of Maui. But that's where this concept of Keystone habits first encountered me, or I encountered it, was in that book. And if that one's not on your reading list, if you haven't read it, check it out. I speak a lot about it when we do our live webinars and things like that. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Put it on your list. And that's where I believe, where I first came across this concept of keystone habits. I think that's the phrase that he uses in the book. The idea is this: certain behaviors are connected to other behaviors. And that makes sense, right? Our life is interconnected. So some behaviors are connected to other things in life. In fact, some are connected to almost everything in your life. And so when that one thing goes well, when we get that one thing done, when we flip that one switch, then other behaviors tend to follow along automatically. The downside is when that one thing falls apart, you know what happens. We've been on that side of it, right? Everything else feels like, oh, it's even harder. I got this uphill battle everywhere. So, what in the book he describes is small changes people introduce into their routines that unintentionally carry over into other areas of their lives. And that's the key word, unintentionally. So we're not trying to do it all at once. We're not white knuckling and trying to corral all these habits and control all these different factors. We're just pulling one lever, flipping one switch, and the other things start to move, or at least they start to move more easily. And so what the book describes, what my experience has found, what research shows is that when people pick up these anchor habits, these keystone habits, they pick up other positive habits alongside them. And so the concept is like this: working out. I remember him mentioning that's one of them, right? That's one of those things. When you're working out consistently, other areas of life tend to improve. So, for example, it might be something like you're exercising consistently. Now you're able to manage money better, right? The two don't seem on the surface to be interconnected, but for some reason, when people are working out consistently, now they're able to keep better track of their money. That's an example of what we're talking about here with the keystone habits. It's powerful. and it deserves some attention because it can make this whole process easier. We've talked about habits so many times here on the show, but wouldn't it be great if you're able to just dial in on one of those keystone habits for you in your life that makes everything else start moving in the direction that you want? Now, I want to talk about one specific habit as kind of an illustration, an example of what this could do for you. And of course, this is one area we've talked about a lot recently. I know for a while when I'd have guests on the show, I would ask them, "Hey, where would you recommend people start? Where would you recommend people begin?" And this one came up multiple times, even when it wasn't the topic of our interview. Right? I so I had these experts, doctors, nutritionists, dietitians, and this is something that kept coming up. And boy, it's a good keystone habit. One that research points back to again and again, and it's pretty hard to argue with. And it's in the realm of sleep, right? So I know you've heard it before, but hear me out, okay? Because I don't think most people fully reflect on why sleep is the thing that so many experts would say, start there, work on that one, focus on that, put that on the top of the list. And it is a great example to illustrate the point that I'm making about keystone habits. One, get one down and it shifts everything else, makes everything else more movable. Think about this. When you haven't slept, when you are underslept, is that how you say it? When you haven't slept enough, sleep deprived. You're sleep deprived, right? Even just a little bit, even just by an hour. Here's some of the things that happen. The hormone that signals that you're hungry goes up, makes you feel more hungry. The one that signals that you're full goes down. Okay. So now I'm feeling hungry even when I might not necessarily need food. And I might eat food, but I'm not feeling full as quickly. Those hormones get messed up when we're underslept. So you can see you're already starting your day at a disadvantage before you've even seen any food or made a food choice or come to your first meal, right? Also, underslept people try to compensate for the energy deficit, apparently, right? Nutritionally. So they're reaching for foods, high energy foods, high sugar foods, things that can help them to get a little jolt of energy because they haven't slept enough. Sleep's what they need. Food is a quick boom, a quick replacement in the moment to get that energy that they're lacking. And of course, how are we feeling when it comes to be workout time, gym time, time to go for that walk? If we haven't slept, energy's low, much less likely to follow through and do that one, right? So, what's the point? If sleep is lacking, you haven't slept well, it's an uphill battle for almost every other healthy behavior you might be trying to build, right? Because now our ability to make good decisions, we're just it's all falling apart, right? And you've seen this, parents or anyone who's ever seen a toddler, you know when they're tired. How do you know? Because they're super reactive. Something that's not a big deal, all of a sudden, tantrum, right? Flipping out, crying, screaming, oh, the world is ending. And you're like, normally this wouldn't even bother the kiddo, right? But oh, it's nap time. They haven't slept enough. They're just so tired, right? Well, what about us as adults? Hopefully we don't throw temper tantrums when things don't go our way, but our ability to be responsive rather than reactive is impacted. We don't have as much self-control naturally. But when sleep improves, right? Then people report they have more energy. They feel better about exercising. They make better food choices. They have better mood, feeling more positive, lower levels of stress. It's not because all of a sudden they're like this super disciplined, superhero of willpower. It's just because their biology shifted and now they got enough rest, and everything else cascades in a more positive direction. So The point is this: sleep doesn't just affect how tired you feel. It affects how you eat, it affects how you move, it affects how you think, how you respond to stress. That's what a keystone habit is. So if we're giving attention to habits in the sleep area, for example, and I'm not saying you got to improve your sleep, maybe yours is already locked in and it's just awesome. Maybe it's something else that would help you to move some other habits forward more easily. So let's take some time, figure out what yours might be. What might be a good keystone habit for you to be working on? If it's not sleep, again, I put that out there as an example. It's one that probably does apply for a lot of us, but not necessarily the one that you could be working on right now. So let me invite you on a little visualization journey. What I want you to do is think back to a time, if you could, think back to a time as you're looking at the patterns in your life. Think about a time when things felt like they were clicking. I know it might be a struggle right now as you're listening. Whatever else is going on, you got to focus. Focus on a time. Hey, I was feeling pretty good. I was doing really well. I was going to the gym regularly. I was waking up early. Just think about a time when things were clicking for you. When you were moving regularly, you're eating reasonably well, you were feeling pretty decent. What else was going on at that point for you? What was one thing that was consistently in place during that stretch of time? For a lot of people, maybe it is sleep, maybe it is bedtime, maybe it's a consistent wake up time. Maybe it is a morning routine for others. Maybe not a perfect one, but just a consistent one. I remember, I was reading this book in the morning. I would get up early and I would read and have this little wake up, period before the day kind of got started. That really seemed like it helped, right? Something like that. For others, it might be a consistent meal schedule, a daily walk, or um, maybe even something smaller, making the bed first thing in the morning, right? I've heard that. That's one of those keystone habits for people. When that gets done, other positive things follow. So it might be something that seems kind of trivial on the surface, but it might be something that once you do that follow through, things kind of ripple through the rest of the day in a positive way. And here's how you know that's something for you to focus on. Whatever it is that you were thinking of. Oh, yeah, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. What about when that thing slips? Whatever that habit is that you might have just thought of, something related to sleep, something related to a morning routine, making the bed in the morning, whatever. It's that one thing that if it slips, well, now other things start to slide. There's a negative ripple effect. What might that thing be that has a positive ripple when it's there, negative when it's not? And when you get it back, all of a sudden, oh, things are just so much easier to manage. Life becomes a bit easier. What might that thing be? Take some time and think about it because, and if you don't have it already, think about it. That's a good keystone habit for you to focus on. Again, and it might not be anything that even is like, oh, I'm much healthier now, right? I made my bed. Well, now the doctor's going to be happier with me when I go to my checkup. It might just be that you made your bed. Now you worked out as well. Now the doctor's happier, right? And you're feeling better too. And honestly, you might already know what your keystone habit is. Most people, I would say, most people do. They intuitively know when that thing's going well, when that one thing, it just seems to impact the rest of my life. And it's just somewhere there in the back of their mind. I got to get back to doing this or that. It doesn't matter if for you it works. It might sound ridiculous to someone else. Okay. That does not matter. Stick with that one thing, get that thing in place, get it done. Give yourself permission to focus on that instead of just trying to fix everything at once. I mean, wouldn't that be cool if instead of how do I get myself to work out regularly, the question was, how do I get myself to make my bed in the morning? Knowing that once I make my bed, working out feels so much easier. That's the idea that we are talking about. And of course, before we wrap up, we need to acknowledge where this whole conversation started, and that is the inclination when we're beginning a health journey or we're restarting a health journey to try to overhaul everything all at once, right? New meal plan, new workout routine, new sleep schedule, new everything, all starting on Monday. Understand that that is not going to work. More than likely not going to work for you. Of course, there's excitement behind it. It feels decisive. It feels like commitment, but actually following through is really, really, really difficult. And that aligns with research on behavior change. The more decisions we have to make, the more changes we try to implement all at once, our resources get spread very thin. Our mental energy gets spread very thin. We're asking our brain to manage a whole bunch of change all at once, and it's exhausting. It's tiring. It's hard to keep control of. So, what I'm encouraging you to do, especially when it comes to starting out or restarting, get that keystone habit. Get that one thing figured out, and then focus on doing that one. Get it done. It's going to build your identity as someone who follows through on your intentions. It will build your confidence. It will build your momentum. And when you get that one dialed in, notice what else is available to you. Start to feel the ripple effect. You're not just grinding through hoping for, oh man, I hope I feel some motivation soon. I'm going to keep forcing myself to do this until I do. If you got the right habit, if you pick the right one, then you're going to ride the ripple, right? ride the wave that one behavior created for you throughout the day, throughout the week, the month, and hopefully for a long, long time as you continue to execute, as you continue to get it done. It's sustainable, and that's how change actually sticks. All right, I told you at the beginning of the episode, I'd leave you with one specific thing that you can do starting tonight that ties this all together. We're almost there. Before I share that, I'm going to invite you over to beginwithin.fit. If you haven't been over on our website, go check it out, beginwithin.fit. There is a link, right? Well, it's all over the page, but you can click, you can schedule a call with me. I will give you a phone call. We'll talk about your journey and what might help support you in making the changes that you really want to make. So go over there, beginwithin.fit. There's also some other programs that we have available there. If you want to click into one and get it started, great. But just go over there and check it out. Take a look at it. Book the call. It's just one click, and it might just take you where you want to go. All right, here's your one thing. And again, this is just based on what I've seen, what I've experienced. Pick a bedtime. What a keystone habit. What a surprise, right? We talked so much about sleep as our big example for a keystone habit. But do this. Pick a bedtime that's 30 minutes earlier than what you've been doing. Okay? Just 30 minutes. Set a phone reminder for 45 minutes before that time. Not to fall asleep. The alarm, 45 minutes. So I'm talking about, okay, 9 o'clock's my new bedtime, right? 8:15, phone reminder. 45 minutes before. The idea is just right there. Start doing some things to wind down. Start doing some things to shut the day down. Turn the lights down. Turn the overhead lights off. Turn the lamps on. Whatever you can do to start to quiet your mind, quiet your surroundings. And that's it. That is it. And get to bed at that 30 minutes sooner because you started to wind down a bit earlier. So really what's the keystone habit there? It's just the wind down alarm. Set that thing as a signal. Hey, it's time to start a wind down routine. Wrap up whatever you've been working on, whatever you've got going on, and start the wind down. And then find yourself getting to bed 30 minutes earlier and see how it feels. You're not overhauling your life, just trying something out, seeing, hey, is this it? Was Nate right? Was sleep such a big deal? Is it going to impact the rest of everything? Maybe, maybe. But if you've got another keystone habit in mind, another keystone habit in mind that you want to start with, go for it. Do that. The goal is once you get it, the rest are going to follow. Hey, remember this: health is personal. Please keep experimenting, keep reflecting, keep noticing what's working for you. Make adjustments as needed. I'll talk with you again soon. Until then, keep taking good care of yourself.